Hi everyone, this is Stella and this will be somewhat unusual video for this channel. But I hope there will be more videos like that in future. Basically, my channel reached 2000 subscribers and I thought that I can do something special about it, dedicate a special video to it or something else. I didn't want to do any serious video, I wanted to do something more like a chatty video, but still with the purpose. And then I came up with this great idea. So in today's video, I will be reviewing all the things that I did last year that are actually against sustainability, are against zero waste principles, or just in general are against what I planned for myself in terms of my sustainable journey. And I want to talk about these things openly and frankly because I don't want to be portrayed as a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person and I'm not even strive to be perfect because that just gives me too much anxiety, to be honest. And also because that's unrealistic. It's unrealistic that in all areas of our life we'll be doing to the maximum. We can only do certain things. We can sometimes improve, but sometimes we actually go kind of backwards. And I want to talk about this because this is important, because I think if you expect yourself to be 100% zero waste, or you expect yourself like follow and reach every sustainable goal you set for yourself, you're just going to be discouraged because you will feel like, oh, if I'm not perfect, why would I even bother? And I believe we obviously need more people doing at least imperfectly than one or two people who can just pat themselves on the shoulder and say like, I was like zero waste person and all my garbage can fit in this mason jar. We all know that's unrealistic and most of the time a little bit deceiving as well. So I also hope that this video today will not make you feel like why she's even talking about sustainability on her channel if she sucks. I hope you're not gonna see this video this way. I hope you will understand that besides all the things that I talked today, all the unsustainable things I did in last year, I also did lots of good things, obviously, as well as spending hours and hours on research and making these videos so more people can have the knowledge and more people can take educated decisions. There were so many things I didn't really do that I wanted to do. There were so many plans I had for myself, how I gonna improve certain areas of my life in terms of zero waste, in terms of sustainability and blah, blah, blah. Lots of things didn't happen. At first I was really like, disappointed in myself as well in the whole time, because the last thing that people care right now is sustainability and especially things like zero waste. But then I thought that maybe it's actually a good thing that I couldn't do everything that I planned to accomplish, and it would be actually good to have this video where I talk about all the things that I planned for last year but didn't do them, and basically all the unsustainable things I did, or all the zero waste promises I promised to myself that I broke. Because I think it's so important to acknowledge that we are not perfect robots who are zero waste. We are human beings. We have some goals and aspirations. We try to do something, we try to improve, but sometimes some things come on our way. Sometimes things don't happen as fast as we hope them to be. Something that we think that we're gonna love them, they just disappoint us and we don't want to continue them. That's why I decided that this video will be part of my own like vulnerability journey, when I try to talk about things that are usually not, at least not that often talked on YouTube. Like when I really talk about how I am striving to be sustainable, but there are so many situations when I can't be sustainable or I decide not to be sustainable. Anyway, I'm blubbering right now. So basically what I'm trying to do with this video, I'm trying to reflect on my past year and openly, frankly, talk about things where I sucked as a sustainable person or as eco-activist blogger. I don't consider myself eco-activist. I don't do enough to be called like that. I'm just merely a person who is trying to live sustainably and still enjoy life. That's my motto, at least for this channel as well as for my life. I'm just trying to figure out things because I'm curious, and also because I'm a person who doesn't just follow something that somebody told them. Like, I'm not the person who's like, oh, just don't do this, don't buy that because it's not good. No, I want to know, tell me the details. I want to figure out why is it good, why is it bad, and then I want to take my own, somewhat educated decision. And because some of the, videos on YouTube about sustainability can be so perfect, so idealistic, so like error free, so I think it's almost important to talk how we are like real people living real lives, and sometimes we are not perfect, sometimes we are not ideal, sometimes we don't do good things. This is what this video is about. And this video is somewhat inspired by all the similar videos I watched last year, and some of these videos I will probably list down below, so if you want to kind of follow this path of imperfect sustainability, please go watch them. Like me personally, those videos give so much reassurance that I can still be considered sustainable even if I don't do perfect things. And also they give me reassurance that there are other people like me and you don't need to do everything perfectly, you just need to do better, you know? And also that sometimes you have limited resources and sometimes you can't be even better, you can be actually only worse, and that's okay too. Okay, let's start with something simple and almost not bad. It's funny how in my videos I claim that since like a long time I don't buy physical books, I mostly read on my, like electronic reader, I read ebooks, I listen to books, and most of the time I just use actually the library, electronic library. I don't even buy books. And the 2020 was a weird year when I bought quite many physical books, which kind of goes against my philosophy when I say I don't buy physical books anymore, and it's almost like a joke. These are, for example, the books I bought just a month ago, maybe even less, and I will explain why. But I think there is for me at least, there is a distinction between you trying to be like radical and you're like, oh no, now I can't buy any books because I'm not buying any books. In general, I don't buy books. Amount of books I read, and I usually, I read all the time. I read every day. So during the year, I don't know how many books I read, but I definitely read a lot of books. And the percentage of few books I bought this year, I think I also bought maybe a couple of printed maps as well this year. So the amount of books I read, the amount of books I buy is not even comparable. And I don't even have a library. The total amount of books I own that I bought in the last 10 years, probably less than 10. And for me, this is a very important message, also for myself and other people. When people think that it's so important to stick to the number, like let's say if you call yourself a minimalist and you say oh, I only own 10 clothing items, and then if people have to buy 11th item, they go crazy, they go nuts. And I even caught myself when I was like, no, I can't buy the book because my principle is not buying books. But then at the same time, the books I bought are not the books that I bought just randomly because I was like, I just randomly buy something because I have nothing to read. No, these two books that I ordered, they're on the topic of mushroom hunting. These are edible mushrooms. For North America, it's not very a common thing to forage mushrooms. But for people who come from ex-USSR, from Russia, all the Russians know that. I used to forage mushrooms with my father as a kid, and I really miss it now. I mean, I never missed it in most of my life, but now the older I get, the more I want to be in the woods, back to the nature, back to the roots. And also, I like having a hobby, related to that. We took on camping, we started hiking a lot and stuff like that. And also I want to learn more about mushroom hunting. And the books are the great way to get this knowledge. Electronic books don't do justice to you because first of all, I can take this book when I go camping, so I can consult myself that I brought the right mushroom. Also, I actually want to keep this book because it's like a dictionary, an encyclopedia of books. I can't just borrow this book from the library because then I have to return it. I actually, before buying this book, I read maybe 7 books about mushrooms, and I borrowed them from the library, from Hoopla, from Libby. And only after that, I realized, after I read lots of books, I realized, okay, I really want to own a couple of books. That's how I went. So my take on this is yes, I broke my own principle, but technically I'm still on my principle. I'm not going to go nuts nowadays and start buying books. And at the same time, if next year or in a year, I feel actually now I want to own physical books, I feel it's okay for people to break their own principles if they just feel they changed. And also there are actually, more sustainable ways to get books. For example, when I was buying this particular books, I was like, okay, if I get a book, let me at least do it sustainably. First of all, I'm not going to buy it off Amazon. Second, I will look for second-hand books. For example, this book, you can probably see it doesn't look very new, and I just received it a week ago. I bought it on the website that sells, second-hand books. Other book I bought from some small independent publisher or independent bookseller. Also, The funny part, I also did a mistake, which is actually quite interesting. But that mistake actually led me to this video I did recently. Like just a while ago, I posted a video about Amazon, how I think that the books are definitely something you shouldn't be buying there. And I was so proud of myself that I bought some of the books. I bought actually 3 books. The third one hasn't arrived yet. So that book I bought from this website called Ape Books, and it looks like an old crappy website, which I figured is definitely some independent. And then when I was doing my research for Amazon, I just realized that Ape Books was bought by Amazon like 10 years ago, and of course on purpose they don't develop it, they just have it. And it's also so deceiving because you think that you buy from independent seller, but technically you buy from Amazon, and that sucked. And first I felt so furious that I was going to the extent, I paid for shipping, I was going to the extent to buy books outside of Amazon, and I still bought it on Amazon technically. And I was so mad at myself, and I would tell my husband, and he said like, just relax, like you can't like control the life, because you live in a world where it exists, and you will be doing these mistakes. And if you spend your energy on contemplating on the mistake you made instead of actually putting this energy into making sure next time you don't do the same mistake, it's more important. Let's go to the next one, which will be more horrible. Okay, I think it was in 2019. Yes, it was in 2019. It was fall. I started getting into sustainable fashion, learning more about it, because before I didn't know much. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know much. And also for me, like zero waste sustainability, it wasn't a new issue. I started like composting when I lived in Bali, and I was composting since 2015, I think. And also like I was doing other things, like some zero waste things. But in fall 2019, I decided that, okay, I know enough about fast fashion. I'm gonna quit fast fashion. Also, I'm gonna quit buying from some like random brands or like big brands that actually produce in China, which is unethical, unsustainable. And I was saying like, I will only buy from sustainable brands or thrift. That was my big plan for 2020 as well. And when I was analyzing the result, broke my promise. And I want to address that as well. There were a situation when I needed a new pajamas. Okay, sorry for like TMI, too much information. Okay, if I needed pajamas, I would just go online and I will research what are sustainable brands for pajamas. I was going through these brands. I was going through them. I didn't like the designs. I didn't like the materials. I wasn't sure if it's gonna fit me. It was too expensive, and I was like just constantly doing this research. And I spent like a couple of weeks. I mean, not non-stop, but like on and off researching this topic. And then one day, me and my husband, we just went to Target to buy something, and I just saw like a nice pajama that I liked, and I just grabbed it. I was like, okay, it's cotton, at least not synthetic, and it was cheap, and I bought it. I really love these pajamas. It's super comfortable. I don't know, I'm gonna definitely wear it until gonna have holes on it. But then when I brought it home, I was like, fuck, I bought something from Target. I'm not supposed to shop clothes at Target. And I was talking to my friend. I was like, I don't know, I was just so frustrated trying to find a sustainable brand that's not too expensive, and I needed new pajama, and I couldn't buy a new pajama for 2 months because I just couldn't find the brand, couldn't choose, because I didn't also want to buy things that I don't like how they look, because otherwise I will not be so willing, to wear them. And she also gave me a good point. She said like, maybe it's like unfeasible. No, I don't know if it's actual word. Like maybe it's impossible for you to jump from just buying whatever you used to buy and just like, go cold turkey and just only buy sustainable. Especially when we talk about the fact that sustainable brands are expensive, and although I can afford certain things, but I'm definitely not in the situation when I can just buy it without like thinking like, whatever, like just buy 10 things, like sustainable haul, $1,200, no problem. No, that's not my case, that's a Russian word for and. So, and I was talking to my friend, and she said like, yeah, maybe it's okay. Maybe sometimes it's okay. Like you need something basic, like pajama or like a white t-shirt or something. And you just go wherever you're gonna find it. What can you do? You can at least make sure you wear it for a long time, which I know is gonna happen with these pajamas. I don't know if it's gonna be long lasting, that's a little bit unclear. Although I have to say that I used to buy things from Target, and if you look like carefully into things, they actually like quite not a bad quality. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but they have not a bad quality, And this was like such a kind of difficult debate for me, like, to what extent a person should be strict, in terms of their rules. I don't know. Is it me just like looking for excuse and actually not going on my path? Or it's okay. We live in in a real world where most brands that we can afford are not sustainable. It was not because I didn't want to buy something sustainable, but I truly felt like I can't find the right item and I can't just keep like looking. Like I couldn't at that point afford like spending more time to look for it. And I just bought it. So, it's like it's a tricky thing for me. But I was thinking a lot about that, and it really like bugged me at some point. Better you just go find it instead of like just getting into more crazy state and just move on, and next time, like when it's feasible, you do buy something sustainable. I mean, I did buy some sustainable things. And the things I want to address this on this channel because I'm sure like I'm not the only person who gets into that. And at some point, I realized I became like so, they call it eco-anxiety. I got so anxious. I would do something, I would buy something, and then I would feel so guilty. And I would feel guilty like for weeks at the end, or how you say it. And I don't think it's productive, And also I learned that it has to be like kind of like the slow process. You like slowly changing your habits, you're slowly changing things. Another thing that's related to this part, last year, at least for the last year, I had a plan to go more into thrifting. I'm not new to thrifting. Like when I was a kid, I used to go to thrift stores. Actually, it wasn't even stores. If I find photos, I will attach here. So I was born and raised in USSR. And I think in the 90s, it was like really hard to buy any clothes, and only you can buy it if you go to these markets. It was almost like looking like a parking lot, like a huge parking lot, and there will be clothes, just a clump. And later in life, when I moved to Bali, I started doing secondhand again for sustainable reasons and also for budget reasons. And I still have lots of things that I bought in Bali secondhand that I still own like until now. So I'm not new to thrifting, but in America, I never went into actual thrift stores to buy clothes. So my plan was to explore it last year. I don't know why, but I felt really timid to go like into the physical thrift store, and I was like constantly postponing it, and then we all know what hit. So I completely like gave up on this idea, but this was not because I didn't want to do it, mostly because of pandemic thing. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe I use it as excuse because I know some people did thrifting. But for me, because it was like something I had to start over, it was kind of hard. Starting it in general was stressful. Starting during pandemic was even more stressful. So I didn't do it. And I felt like also kind of weird about it. It's like it was my plan and I just lost the whole year and I didn't fulfill my plan on thrifting and stuff like that. But at the same time, I realized that sometimes some things we just think we can just quickly, switch into them, but it just doesn't work this way. And what I found myself as a middle ground between, doing like, actual thrift store, like going to Goodwill and other stores, and actually still like implementing more secondhand clothes in my wardrobe. I started going to websites like Poshmark, Depop, and also Mercury. Actually, Mercury I like the most right now. Mercury sells not only clothing items, but different items, and I actually buy a lot from them. I also sell things that I don't need there, so I actually really like this website. And in December, I went a little bit nuts, and I ordered a bunch of different items for me and my husband from Mercury. And I was like so excited that I finally got some secondhand clothes from there. But there is a funny story that I actually unknowingly committed another sustainable sin. So I was ordering certain things for my husband, and I was looking specifically for high quality flannel cotton shirts. The problem with these secondhand websites, sometimes people don't quite list all the information or misrepresent it. So when I received these flannel shirts, I realized, first of all, they are not cotton, and they are made partially from rayon, which I didn't want to buy because it's not a very good option for a fabric, at least if it's not sustainably sourced. And also I realized that those t-shirts are from Walmart. I was not only duped because I'm sure I paid too much for them, because I also paid for shipping, but if I knew that they are the Walmart brand, I would never buy them, because compared to Target, Walmart has a very low quality of items. They have super low quality, so those shirts probably not gonna last long. So it's kind of funny that I waited the whole year getting myself up to finally buying something something thrifting clothes, and I got the bullshit from Walmart. But at the same time, I guess it's for me to learn that sometimes even thrifting takes time. Like if you go thrifting and if you don't get what you want, or you just get duped, or you just buy something because you're like don't know much about this, sometimes it's okay because it's a learning curve, and it's like with everything we have to respect the learning curve. And I forgot to mention this thing was with new with tags. These people probably just went to Walmart, bought it during some sale and sold it to me, and basically I supported Walmart. But then should be more careful next time. I just checked that I have so many still like bullet points to go, but I will not make this video too long. Maybe the last one I will be talking, it's actually a big like area. I really like was motivated and inspired to implement more zero waste habits in my life. I'm not a zero waster. I don't think zero waste is the only thing we should focus about. I'm more about like a sustainable approach, but it was still important for me to kind of implement more zero waste habits, to try more things. And little did we know that 2020 would completely change my plans. And most of the like first months of the pandemic, so March, April, May, actually more than that, June, July, I was literally like stressed and almost depressed. I know like it's not a good way to misuse this term, but I really felt like I have like almost on the verge going into depression, because I was already doing like quite good in terms of zero waste, and I started doing even more things. For example, I bought this Stojo cup so we can buy our boba tea, because usually boba tea comes in a plastic cup. I started like thinking of other ways, like I bought some containers. I was thinking like when I'm gonna go to the store, maybe I will like even when I go to the like restaurant, maybe when I take leftovers, I can ask them to put them in my like my container. I was really excited to implement more like advanced zero waste habits, and instead I think for the first like half of the year I was constantly fighting, I don't know, store attendants, like baristas and other people. I was like, can you please like can I please use my like produce bag? No. Can I use my shopper? No, it's dangerous. I was like, how is it dangerous? I'm just gonna take this item that I bought and put it in. No, you're not allowed to use like reusable, at least in America, we're not allowed to use reusable shopping bags. I remember once I was like I almost became a Karen, I think. So I was buying several things in Safeway, and I stopped there. I only had maybe 5 items, and usually if I buy only a few items and I never take a bag, I just carry it like this to the car, and I also had my shopper bag, like my tote bag. So when I was like paying for these items, the cashier asked me, do you need a bag? I was like, no, I will just put it in my in my tote bag. She's like, oh, you're not allowed to do that. I was like, okay, and I told her I'm just trying not to use too many bags, like I joked about that, and she's like, no, but sorry, you can't do this. And before I even had time to just tell to her like, oh, okay, I just grab it in my hands. Okay, 5 things that I bought. She packed it in 2 separate plastic bags. I mean, we all know in America, the people who do this, packing the shopping bags, I guess they have these crazy instructions when they either double bag or just overuse. And the things I bought, they were like maybe like 1 apple, 1, I don't know, 1 tomato, a pack of popcorn, like something else. Like it was like small items, like nothing heavy, nothing crazy. And she handed me these 2 bags, and I just looked at her, I was like, are you like are you kidding? I just told you a minute ago I'm trying not to take the bags. And I understand these people, they work in the store, like they have crazy like ladies like me all the time. They're just doing their job. They just don't care. They're just too tired to deal with every like person like me. But I almost went mad. And I remember I left the supermarket and I was standing there and I was literally crying, because I was like, I'm trying so hard to be zero waste, but constantly this shit happens. Actually, for the first 3 months, or no, actually more, for the 3 or 4 months of COVID, I didn't have a single takeout coffee, because I was trying to avoid, and I was waiting for the coffee shops just to go back to normal. I was like, okay, I will just be drinking coffee at home. But then I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Then at some point I realized, you know what? I'm going nuts. Literally, I stress other people. They're just trying to do their job, and everyone is stressed anyways. And I'm just trying, just because I have this zero waste principles in my head, like I become that stickler person who just, I stress myself, I stress my husband, because then I tell him about that and I tell him how unfair the world is. And then I get mad, even if I don't say anything, I'm sure this barista or the shop attendant, they can see my face when I'm they can see something like this. So I just realized that, you know what? The year 2020 was already stressful enough. If everything goes against me, I can't use my produce bag. If I go to the stores when I used, like, you buy grains, you used to just scoop it out, put it in your bag. Now everything is packed, pre-packed for you. Like, I can't avoid that. There was no way to avoid packaging in 2020 if you live in, at least where I live, in San Francisco. I mean, of course, you can go out of your way and probably find that one store, but most of the time you couldn't. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna waste my energy on this. There are like bigger issues. Maybe I just spend my energy and time on something else, and when the world goes back to normal, let's hope we can go back and practice our zero waste lifestyles. And again, I felt weird when I first experienced all that, because I was constantly angry, I was constantly stressful. I was like, the whole world is against me and doesn't let me be as eco as I want. But then I was like, it's too much. It's like nuts. And I never wanted to be this person. And I especially don't want to this person to myself, because it's not healthy. It doesn't make sense, because if you're going to be constantly stressed, you're going to hate the whole sustainable movement. And at some point, I mean, if you subscribe to my channel since the very beginning, in the beginning I did 2 videos in a week, then I started doing 1 video a week, and then I started doing 1 video in months or something because I was constantly frustrated. I was like, this year was so fucked up in terms of sustainability, why I'm bothering making video, But then I was like, Stella, just relax, just breathe in, breathe out, just relax and just take it by day, take it slow. Yeah, the world is in a very weird situation right now, but I guess that's it. You just have to give it up. And for me, it was so weird. For so many, for a couple years before that, I was already practicing certain things, and I was planning to do even more things, and I just ended up doing actually less. And actually admitting the fact that I will be doing less was mind-boggling to me. I was like, no, I don't want to do less. I want to do at least a little bit better. But that's a toxic way, I think, to be expecting yourself to be always better. Sometimes we just go backwards. 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards. That's how things are. And maybe it's okay, because there are other issues, important issues that were raised this year, and maybe those issues are more important than sustainability. Although you might collapse as a planet, but who knows, maybe new humans will emerge from that collapse and they will be better than us. I don't know. I'm very philosophical about that. Anyway, to summarize that giant zero waste / sustainable sin I committed several times this year. Basically, first I gave up from, taking plastic bags when you go to the store. Then I gave up using plastic produce bags. Then I was like, you know what? If things go crazy, if I'm too tired to wash my own salad, I even started buying salad in the box, when it's pre-washed, and which is not good. I was really condemning myself a year before for doing that. But last year, at least for me, and I know for many other people, emotionally it was so stressful that sometimes I couldn't even find energy to wash my salad. And I was like, you know what? If buying salad in a box will make me eat the salad, that's probably better than me not buying the salad or buying it, not washing it, and it's going to rot. Again, if somebody would tell me a year ago that I would make a video like that, I would not believe. I was like, come on, I'm not gonna fall that low. I'm better than this. I don't know, but the 2020 really fucked me up somehow, That's crazy. Anyway, to continue my list of sins. So for the first, I think 2 months, we were not taking any, food takeouts, mostly cooking at home, because we didn't want to spend too much money. Plus, financially for my husband, it wasn't unclear, the money-wise, if he'll be making money or not. So we were bootstrapping a little bit. But then I realized, wait a minute, everything is so connected in the world. Right now, I'm not, buying meals, not buying takeouts from my favorite restaurants, and I can't go there because they're closed. They were closed most of the year because I'm trying not to get any plastic packaging. But then at the same time, these restaurants lose me as a client, so they might go out of business because I'm not eating there. And I was like, how do you choose? 2020, what are you doing to me? 2021, what are you continuing doing to me? How a person has to choose, because the main thing that I learned on my sustainable journey, that nothing is black and white. Nothing is this or that. Nothing is don't use plastic and that's how you're gonna save the planet. Buy cotton because natural fabrics is better. No, it just everything is so like, it's like 50 shades of gray, you know? And I'm not referencing to any, like, obviously things, because like everything is like specter, you know? Like everything is so multifaceted. I don't know if you can say that like that. Things are more complicated than most people think, you know? All these ideas like 10 zero waste principles, like life is just bigger than that, you know? Yeah, you avoid getting takeouts, but then you don't, you know, bring money to this particular business and this business goes out of business. For example, one of our favorite restaurants is going out of business. We don't know, maybe they were already not doing very well before COVID. I mean, they claiming it's because of COVID. And obviously this year we did not eat there as much as before, because they mostly serve burgers and beers, and it's kind of weird. Like for us, like we would go there when we want, because they have good craft beers. We would go there because we wanted to drink beers as well as get some, you know, some dinner or lunch. But now, because you know, like you can't have a takeaway beer. Actually, we did it twice, I think, but it's just not the same. And now I'm thinking like, yeah, people like me who just gave up going to this restaurant for many different reasons. Convenience, plastic packaging. It's pointless to pay, I don't know, $14 for your burger because you can just buy in and out. Because before we would pay for this burger because it was part of the experience going to this particular place. And now I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe because of my decisions, this restaurant is going out of business. I'm not saying only my decision, but in general, you know, like we influence the world in such a weird way that sometimes being kind of like nitpicking? I mean, you probably know what I mean. Like trying to nitpick on one action doesn't make sense. Yes, I bought books. Yes, I bought things in Target. But on a grand scale of things, I still like tried to be as sustainable as I could be last year. I still implemented some new things. For example, we stopped doing shower gel and switched to bar soaps, which is better in terms of sustainability. But again, it's not necessarily better. Some of the bar soaps have palm oil, and palm oil sucks because, okay, that deserves another video. So, you know, if you just randomly think that, oh, bar soap is always better than shower gel because there is no plastic packaging involved, but then you're hurting the orangutans that are dying because somebody is cutting palms for, not palms, but cutting trees where they live and plants palm oil there, palm trees there. So, you know, the world is complicated. But anyway, there were good things that we did last year, and I hope that 2021, learning everything that I learned and also maybe learning more and trying to implement more things. I hope it will 2021 will allow me be more sustainable, but at the same time be more healthily sustainable, more realistically sustainable. Or, as I put it, as a motto of this channel, will teach me to be more sustainable and still enjoy life. Because that's the purpose. If you're not enjoying your life, you're not going to be doing anything good to this planet, because that's not how it works. Anyway, this video turned out quite long, although I was planning to make it short, but that never happens to me. Anyway, I wanted to do something like this, unscripted, unprepared, almost unprepared, somehow like chatty video. And I hope you like content like that, because for 2021, I kind of want to make more videos besides the deep dives and deep research. I kind of want to have more mixed content here, because it takes me a long time to create a video like the one about bioplastic, or about the one like the one about Amazon. It takes me a while to research this, and it's impossible for me as a single person to produce one video a week. And also, I think for people, it's kind of not very interesting to watch so many deep dives, because you just get tired learning too much. So I'm trying to make more, to make like a mix of content, maybe have more entertaining video, more chatty video, maybe more shorter videos as well. Anyway, if you have any ideas, you're always open to leave them in a comment, and also share your experience if you have something to share. And see you in my next video. Bye bye.